メジャー翻訳速報。
皆さんこんにちは。今日は今永昇太投手の素晴らしい投球について見ていきます。7回3安打1失点4奪三振の好投で今季初勝利を挙げました。特に5回と6回の三者凡退は見事でしたね。今日の動画を最後まで見て、ぜひ皆さんの感想もコメント欄に書いてくださいね。チャンネル登録もよろしくお願いします。
He put on full display after he had that walk-off defensive W. And with that said, come on in. You know what time it is. This is Cubs Postgame Live. We are presented by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. I'm Cole Wright. There's the 17-year big leaguer Cliff Lloyd. And Cliff, like we said, this one, well, it gave us some heart palpitations. But either way, a win is a win. They all look the same in the books, man.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I don't even know where to start. I mean, because Shota threw a heck of a game, right? When you think about what he did.
PCA defensively.
How Tucker goes deep.
Slew.
But you know, I want to put emphasis on, I look at the box score, right? And you have PCA and you have Dansby, 0 for 4, both of them 0 for 4 with 3 punches. That's 0 for 8. Throw it away. This is why you play the game. This is why you do the things in the game that give you a chance to win ball games. We're going to get into PCA's, speed, his defense, and then we're going to flip it over to how you end the game with Dansby. So you can go 0 for 8. You can look at the box
put
score
your fingerprints on it
and always take something positive home. And I think this is so much when you think about the game and how it's supposed to be played. Dansby is thinking about everything before this happens. The only way you make this play is you thinking that Hansen is going to round that bag if it comes to him, and he has to get a chance to get over there. Now, if Shaw's not covering, then he has to go over there and do all the dirty work. But he gets it done the hard way.
And would you say, no disrespect to Matt Shaw, but his IQ at third base is in a complete different stratosphere than Dansby Swanson at shortstop?
Yeah, well, when you think about Shaw's thinking about everything else, in that situation, ball coming to him, making a force play or whatever the case may be. But I'm just thinking, when you think about Dansby and how he goes about his business, he's always thinking ahead. That's why you need the veteran leadership. The hitting's going to come. He's scuffling at the plate, we get it. But when you're playing the game, and you out there in every moment, you have to anticipate the ball is coming to you, but you also have to anticipate the play. Whatever the play may be, it might not be at first. You know who's at home plate. You're not getting Carroll on anything slow. So you have to be able to say, hey, if a ball's hit to me slowly, I have to deke, and then hopefully the Hansons or whoever whoever the base run is rounding the bag and not getting back. So if you think that and it happens, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. Right? You can think it and it just won't happen that way. But if you anticipate and it actually comes your way, boy, it just makes it look so good and it makes it like you're so prepared because that's how you have to play the game. Yeah. Hats off to them, man. I'm telling you, this is exactly what you need from your guys when you're not hitting. You're playing defense. You're still in the bags. You're beating out double plays. You get another bat in that box. So all these things are happening for this team, even though they haven't hit, stride consistently with doing some little things right, with runs and scoring position, so on and so forth. But I just thought, overall, man, this was a well-played game.
Absolutely. It's all about preparation. A guy that has won 5 World Series championships that invites you every single year to his golf outing, Derek Jeter. He was on social media just the other day. He says when that preparation comes into play, when you do prepare the right way, every situation is just right there in front of you. But if you don't prepare, that's when the game speeds up, and the game defensively never really seems to speed up for Dansby.
No, it's not. You're right about preparing and understanding, the work. I think the biggest thing is not overthinking it, right? You can put yourself in great situations, but don't overthink the situation. You still have to play the game, right? So I think that's one thing. I caught Dansby and PCA, and I should have clipped it off, but they were talking in between innings, or when they weren't hitting, and you could see Dansby was just talking to PCA, whatever they was having a conversation about. PCA was just nodding his head like, I get it. And that's what you want, because whatever is going on in that young man's head, guess what? Dansby's there to help him, pick him up off the floor, dust him off, and get him back out there, because he knows how important every play is in every situation. So, when you see Pete make that play in center, it's keeping him in the ball game. It's keeping him away from, being frustrated with his offense, because his offense will pick up sooner than later.
Yeah, and to have a player like Dansby Swanson with that defensive acumen and his ability to range from side to side, if anyone knows just how important that is, it's the skipper, Craig Counsell. So here he is with that final defensive play and his take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
the three words that I've used, like experienced, instinctual, athletic, I think it was the definition of those three things. It was just a brilliant play, and it's a play that, you know, in real time, you just think about it, like he's thinking about that play before he catches the ball. Like in that time from when it's hit until when he catches it, which is, what, second? That's what's running through his mind. And that's just great instincts, man. That is incredible. And then, you know, he took a good angle on him and got a really athletic guy and made a great tag.
Pete's throw, another great defensive play that kind of shifted momentum. Just what was your perspective watching that from the dugout?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those balls that gets hit and you think, well, he's going to tag and there's no chance. And Pete puts a great throw, just a perfect throw. Gage makes a heck of a tag, and we get an out, and it saves Shota some pitches, you know, which really probably allowed him to get through that seventh inning.
You talk about trying to get through these first 7 games without a day off, and Shota gave you 7 innings. How impressive was he, and just how big was the 7 innings?
Yeah, it was just a great start. I mean, I got to believe he's the first starter to get 7 innings. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it was a wonderful start. I mean, I thought he just pitched well. I thought he really kind of controlled his kind of energy in the early innings, and his fastball kind of in the end was as good as it was in the first inning. So it was just a brilliant performance. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's, you know, we were going to see it. We saw it tonight, so it was a big night offensively for him. Yeah, I mean, look, they came out and got him the first 3 hitters, but I think, you know, that's, as Tommy and I were talking, the thing that Ryan, despite that, you know, with 2 runs on the board and a man on first base, it's still like control the situation, and he did a wonderful job of controlling the situation, and that means just not letting it get too big, not get frustrated, make pitches, and he just kept making pitches.
How important is it for him to just keep going out?
Yeah, I mean, that's number one. We were talking about that before the game too. Is like, really want to get him out there. Obviously, it means we're winning, so that's a good thing. But he needs to pitch. We need to get him out there pitching. And you know, he gave up some runs, and that's not good. But tonight was a good day for him. I think he'll take something from today for the positive.
And for Matt Shaw to come up in a pinch hit situation, first major league home run, what do you think of that at bat?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, you know, just kind of aggressiveness from Matt and intent from Matt is something that you can't lose. It's the thing, he's good at it. You know, he can hit home runs, and it was an aggressive swing, and it's the kind of swing you want Matt to take, just those aggressive hacks.
Just overall with Pete, it seems like all his contact has been really quality. Obviously, the round that he scored, he's flying around the bases as per usual. How impressive has he been?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's had a lot of bad luck, but he's doing. I think he's doing a great job. I think his bats look really, really good, and he's impacting the game kind of everywhere. And that's what Pete does. He's able to impact the game everywhere, and that's what makes him so valuable.
So we saw Pete impact the game. We also saw Dansby. Cliff said a little bit earlier, Dansby, he was thinking one play ahead, and as Craig leaned into, so was Pete. So, Cliff,
you know what?
He has a gold glove on. He's going to give us a defensive breakdown of that unbelievable throw. There's a little dust on that.
Well, listen, I'm not going to jinx my young man right here, but I will tell you one thing. He is heading in the right direction. It's perfect to down this lane. You know what I mean? And when you think about him, it starts with the base runner, right? When you think about him beating out this double play, this is where you know he's matured and got himself in a position where he understands what the game is asking of him.
Sure.
That ball's down. Look at his eyes when he rounds second. Everybody at home, just look where his head is. He's getting there, but he already knew, right? He already knew he was scoring. He just wanted to know if Gurriel was going to be there. But look at this right here. He gets his secondary, and he takes off, and he's like, look where his head is. He don't need the third base coach. Quentin Berry's over there telling him to come, but he don't need that.
He's already seen the distance between
his
left field.
His eyes are telling him what he needs.
Himself.
And here goes the play of the night. Well, I know Dansby makes the play, sort of sort of Tommy tops him. But look at the route efficiency behind the baseball, knows who's running to Josh Naylor, and knows he has to throw an absolute dart, does it, not worry about overthrowing Shaw. When you think about backing up, you don't need a backup guy, but this reminds me of somebody. This guy right here, Ichiro.
You go Ichiro Suzuki.
Well, just look at the play.
One of the best arms of all time.
Just look at the play. You want to run on me? You better get a good jump
Do or die
and make
action.
sure that you get down because, whoo. Like I say, when you talk about goal,
T-Long he threw out?
T-Long should know better. T-Long should know better.
He should.
But that's what I'm saying. When you want this, because this is the closest I'm ever going to get to it, boy, you got to make the plays like we saw tonight. And I'm telling you, this is special because it reminds me of Ichiro, but it also reminds me of a guy I played with in Devon White.
Ooh,
always getting to the location.
Fantastic.
All you kids at home, when you get your jump and you get behind that baseball, it's about getting from A to B to your spot, turning around and being in position. But this is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Huge.
You're always teaching and you're always listening. You don't have to apply everything, but when you're having a good conversation about certain things, it just that just makes my heart happy.
It should.
Because Dansley knows that the kid wants to be great.
Okay, and the one thing that was big was where he caught it at. He didn't catch it up here. He didn't catch it too far out front. He was right behind it. Perfect time. Value from speed and defense.
Well,
is this quite the combo, Cliff? I mean, plus 22. This guy is at the head of the class.
I told you, from an analytical standpoint, I'm trying to get better,
You're
right?
trying to wrap yourself around numbers.
Well, that speaks highly to what he brings to the table. And he knows what Craig is asking of him. And right, so when you know you have speed, it's about being smart with it. It's not running to outs. It's not doing things uncharacteristically. It's about making sure that you do what you need to do every single night to put your handprint on this game. And so tonight, we saw him beat out a double play. We saw him score from first. And we saw him make a terrific play in the outfield. That's an 8 on the night.
He speeds everybody up.
0 for 4 in the box and still had a terrific night. That's a positive.
Yeah, and we saw that fielder's choice as he started to try to get the double play going. It's almost like he threw that ball just a slip bit early because Pete Crow Armstrong, what does he do? Tips everyone up and speeds them up, and that's one of the things that he brings to the table each and every single time he's out there. And tonight, like Cliff said, the offensive numbers, nothing he's going to put in his back pocket. But
dusty thing
it is a little dusty, but hold on a second. Hopefully, Dansby, Nico, PCA, Michael Bush, and the list goes on, Kyle Tucker. Hopefully they will all be bringing home that Rawlings heart of the hide. Tuck, well, you saw him get the heart of that baseball today. His first as a Cub. Complete moving pictures right around the corner. Keep it locked. They're playing chess like a young Bobby Fischer. Let's get it started. Game 3 of a 4-gamer. Shota Imanaga out there on the hill, and he had the locks flowing. As Cliff said, Corbin Carroll grounds this one to first to Michael Bush. That's heads up, Cliff.
Heads up, man. What a play by Michael Bush.
Unreal.
Right? Takes a little hop, looks up. You see Shota's not going to get over in time and takes it upon himself to get over into the bag. And wisely enough, he put the ball in his glove hand.
True. He put that one away and made sure he was able to secure that out. Miguel Amaya, he is a doubles machine. Strokes one to left field. PCA, as we showed you earlier, he had one thing and one thing in mind. He was going first to home, lickety-split, Cliff.
Yo, if it wasn't for Aaron Judge's big day in the Bronx today, Amaya would be leading the league in RBIs.
Absolutely. How about this one? Gabby Moreno flies into, well, it looked like a routine can of corn. Oh, PCA showing off the arm, a little style, and a dash of flash.
What a cannon. And also, heads up, you know, by counsel to take a 3, right? A 3 and go with it. Listen, he's out. I got to give PCA some love.
Little cheer. I hear that. Little tip of the cap. Not too shabby. 5th frame. Let's go. 1 on, 1 out. Kyle Tucker. See the ball, hit the ball. The bat flip, Cliff. You have to love the way that looked.
Brendan Pfaadt went to that changeup too many times.
The wrong well.
Went to the well. And Kyle Tucker made him pay.
Yeah, absolutely. A 3-1 lead, a 2-run cushion for the Chicago Cubs and Kyle Tucker. Something tells me there's going to be a whole bunch of those to follow. Top 7, Matt Shaw, and this one, absolutely shawsome. Rounding the bases by himself, like Tom Hanks in that one motion picture.
He went up there ambushing, right? When you pinch hit, you go up there and get your hacks in, baby. He went up there, looking for a fastball, got the heater.
You couldn't wipe that smile off of his face. You could not wipe the smile off of his face. That man is in the book, Matt Shaw. Congratulations, youngster. And how about bottom of the sixth? Guess who's still out there? Shota Imanaga absolutely dealing, throwing it through a bottle top. Corbin Carroll, see you later. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., same for him. Gabby Moreno, his attempt futile. Then Jake McCarthy, just for good measure, lifts one to Ian Happ. Shota's day, well, it was officially in the books. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 free passes, and 4 punch-outs. Just 3 hits allowed so far in 11 innings. That's what you call stingy. Bottom of ninth, here we go. 1 on, no outs. Former Houston Astro Ryan Presley out there on the slab with a 3-run cushion. And Gino, it's Eugenio Suarez. I think we've been warning every single player on the Cubs about this cat for the last 3 games.
What a series for Suarez, huh? Oof. 4 homers.
Perdomo lifts this one to Burt. Little indecision out there. They would discuss. Then Corbin Carroll to Dansby. Dansby deeks to first and then gets Garrett Hampson napping at third base. One thing you never want to do is make the final out of the game, let alone the inning at third base. Cubs, they had a close shave in this one, 4-3. And that is how the dust settled in the desert. So tomorrow, these boys are going for that series win and to look to get back to 500. 4-3 as they're outpaced by the Snakes in the hit department, 9-8, but they made 1 fewer error. Just 1 blemish defensively for this ball club, and the positives that they were able to do with the leather, unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, Shota Imanaga, he was as good as it gets. So here he is alongside Edwin on a job well done.
ピッチャーに対してすごい成績が良かったっていうのを今知ったってことが一番良かったです。もし分かったら多分打たれてるかもしれません。
I think the important part is I just learned right now that they were historically good against left-handed pitchers, so I knew ahead of time it might have been different, so I'm glad it was now.
What did he think of the play that Pete Armstrong made from center field, where kind of what was he thinking as that ball was in the air, and how surprised was he that that throw got there the way it did?
PCA の三塁の送球のプレーで、ボールが空中にあった時に自分の中で何を考えてました？どう思いました？
まずあの回はノーアウトからツーベースランナーを出してすごい球数がかかってしまう場面ではあったんですけども、僕の中ではツーアウトランナー三塁で次のバッターの配球どうしようかなっていうのをこうカバーリングしながら考えたんですけど、まさかあれがアウトになるとは自分の人生の中で思わなかったんで、これまでの経験上はすごい驚きました。
Yeah, I was really surprised. In that situation, leadoff double, I was thinking, okay, runner on third, 2 outs. So, in that situation, with the runner on second initially, that inning I was prepared for my pitch count to go up. But, when that ball was in flight, I was thinking about, okay, how should I attack the next hitter? But I was really surprised. He's a great player.
What does it mean to you to start the season like this, both keeping the Dodgers scoreless and now pitching as deep into this game as you did?
そのドジャース戦で4回無失点で今日は7回まで投げたっていうのは、シーズンのこの初めの時点で、どういう意味を持ちますか？
そうですね、球数的にもしかしたら6回かもしれないっていうのも頭にありながら7回マウンドに上げてもらったんで、僕はすごく川本監督の、僕にやってほしい意図を感じましたし、ここ4連戦なんで少しでも長いイニングを投げようという気持ちで今日マウンドに上がれて、ドジャース戦から継続していいまっすぐが投げれたのは非常にいいポイントだと思います。
Yeah, it's like today, in my head, I was thinking, 6 innings, but after talking to Craig, he, really came. I'm really appreciative of him. He really pushed me to go out in the 7th, and I was able to go deep in that game. So, I think in this situation, I'm feeling pretty good. で、最後のホームランでした。
4連戦なんで、7回しか投げ切れて、良かったと思います。
And for a series with 4 games, I'm glad I was able to go that extra inning, give everybody else a rest.
So Shota keeping the team in mind, giving the guys in the bullpen just a little bit of a break. Mirage, phenomenal outing for Shota. You love to see it. Absolutely. Everyone just loves when that man's out there on the mound, especially when the luscious locks are flowing. Jake Russell, PCA, probably the best defensive center fielder the Cubs have ever had. We've got Dexter Fowler on line 1. Who knows? But either way, let's go back to Chase. PCA, he's going to give us his take on his laser rocket arm.
I just knew my runner there. There was not really much to that. I had a nice little conversation with Dansby earlier in the game about using what tools I was given and not thinking about it so much or thinking about how to use them. And I think that play was mostly an example of that. But knowing the runner and I mean, that was a long throw, so I didn't feel like I was going to overthrow the house. So I just took a chance.
When you let go of it, did you think you had a shot?
No clue. I just watched the ball fall. No clue.
What do you think of Dansby's play at the end?
That, I mean, that was sick. I think that's another thing that defense is another thing that I think will be a big identity of this team this year. But I hate to put a damper on it. Like, it's not that surprising. He makes a lot of those types of plays. He's a very smart person and player, and there was no surprise there really. That was one of those plays. Watching it unfold, you were like, that's Dansby doing Dansby things.
When that ball was hit, you were on first base with 2 out. Are you going all the way? Do you figure in your mind how much go on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think any chance that, any time a ball is put into the outfield with 2 outs, I think I'm just immediately picking up cue if it's not a read that I can just make myself. But yeah, the plan's always to try and score a run there, especially when it's hit deep and someone's got to go make a play going towards the line, and that's always hard to get a perfect relay. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I think, especially at Wrigley with the lines and everything like that, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to do that this year.
As a left-handed hitter, what stood out to you about Tucker's at bat for the home run?
As a hitter, you just appreciate beautiful swings and good at bats. But I don't know. Tuck's fun to watch, especially being a lefty. So, I think there's gonna be a lot of those this year as well. But no, that was a good changeup, located pretty well, and Tuck's just a really talented, good baseball player, and I'm sure that we'll see a lot of that.
Seem to be making a ton of hard contact early on in the season. Is it mental thing, physical? What's going right for you there?
I'm swinging a bigger bat. I think the bat speeds up a little bit, so I'm sure that part of it actually is mostly the reason why there's harder contact. But I chased a bunch today, and I don't think the contact was all that hard. But when you're swinging at better pitches and putting together better bats, I think what I've seen so far from myself and watching other guys, that's usually when the barrels come. And exit velo or not, or high exit velo or not, I think I'm happy with the at bats I'm putting up so far.
How does that work? Do you have a heavier bat and you're swinging it?
Yeah, 34, 31. I don't really know how that works. I'm sure, maybe it's. I'm actually not going to make a fool of myself right now. I don't know. I was swinging at 33.5.
Okay.
But not to look too much into the bat speed or anything like that. It's, the Males has referenced a lot of really good hitters and their routines over the last couple of years for me, and just trying to move slowly and controlled in my work because my hands are fast, and letting those play in the game I think has been big, probably conserving some energy as well.
Pico Armstrong, a year older, another year stronger, said this year he made the move from a 33-30 to a 34-31, and surprisingly so, he's ticked up a few extra miles an hour in bat head speed. Lance tweeted it out just the other day, or maybe it was today, but either way, every mile an hour extra adds 6 feet on the trajectory. That's big.
Yeah, it's huge, but I think, for him, he's still trying to find his way, right? So, you're tinkering with things that you want to implement in your game, and hopefully that they take you to the next level. But the most important thing he said of all that, you can get a heavier bat, you can get a long, you can do whatever you want to do with your bat.
You said it right before he did.
If your pitch selection is off, it don't matter what you're swinging, right? So once he starts getting that, that swing path and that beautiful mindset of his in that box or around that box, he'll be fine. Okay. Because you can't hit what's down in the zone or what you can't see.
Uh-oh, speaking of, there he is, our player development analyst, Lance Brzezowski, Johnny on the spot. Control room, good looking out. Pete Crow Armstrong's average bat speed a season ago, 70.6. Look at that, 74.5, 1 mile per hour of added bat speed, 6 feet of batted ball distance. So for PCA, we saw the power really start to take shape last year. Now you want to see a little more streamlined pitch selection, and then hopefully that uptick in swing speed is going to really result in some long balls.
Well, what that tells me is, you know, when you start swinging faster, you think you can hit everything now. Now you want to hit everything out the ballpark. You know, we saw the double to left center, you know, last night, and I thought, okay, I mean, because we hadn't seen much of that. So when you start thinking about, like, adding certain things, you got to understand that, the mindset has to calm a little bit, too, because you're going to get really anxious to go up there and do things that you don't typically do. So, like I said, it's a learning curve. You got to wait for him to sort of, slow the mind down a little bit and get his feet up under him. But I think overall, I like how he's talking because he's calm, cool, and collected about what he's.
Fantastic pipes by our guy Miguel Esparza, the voice of the Chicago Cubs on Spanish radio at 1200 a.m. And for Matt Shaw, he didn't really have a whole bunch of time to think about it. Get in the batter's box, be ready to pull the trigger. This is your pinch hit opportunity. He took full advantage of it, Cliff.
Yeah, so many things change when you get to the big leagues. When the last time Matt Shaw come off the bench?
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen.
Maybe
right?
freshman year as a Maryland Terrapin.
There you go. So, when you think about all, the change events that happened throughout the first week, you get to the league. First of all, you get hurt, right? You hurt your oblique, so you only get 24 bats in the spring. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you go into Japan. You don't know if you're making the team. You don't know if they want you to have more at bats. We see the stands. He's scuffing a little bit with the off speed. But tonight, he didn't have to think, right? He's down in the cage because in Arizona, they have the cage down in the dugout underneath, right? You're right there. It's big, it's spacious. You get some swings, and then you come in the game, and it's like, let's not think. Whoever's telling them, whether it be JT, Justin Turner, who's been in that role before, or whoever the case may be, hey, youngin, just go up there and attack the ball. Go up there and ambush. Go up there and get your swings off. First pitch, boom, high elevated fastball for lefty, and he does damage. So this can jumpstart him to getting going and kind of figuring out who he is, because that's the feel he wants, right? Get to the ballpark. Think less. Maybe he's been thinking a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. We don't know. I'm just speculating. I hate speculating. Okay. But from what I've seen is he's getting beat on certain pitches that I don't think he's been beat on. But he hasn't played a lot. If you look at the back of his card, he's only played a couple seasons in the minors, right? And then you get up here, everything goes really fast, and then you have to slow the game down a little bit and get your feet up under you and figure out what's going to be the best case scenario for you. And once you figure that out, then you can get going. But until that happens, it's going to be up and down. It's like a roller coaster for him, right? I mean, and it's moving fast.
It is.
If you don't make time for yourself,
it'll speed up on you.
It'll speed up on you, and then before you know it, things start to change. And nothing has to speak towards going back to Iowa or doing anything like that. Mm-hmm. It just has to work for him to get going, because I think he can handle that third base position and in the box.
Okay, well, today was very reminiscent of May 17th, 2022. Yeah. That was the last time a pair of Cubs both went deep, and it was their first home run as a Cub, respectively. We saw what Matt Shaw just did, and then we also saw what Kyle Tucker was able to do. His first time leaving the ballpark as a member of the Chicago Cubs, and you see the ball hit the ball. This one it hit extremely well, about 12 rows up and out, Cliff.
Well, we saw the double early, right? We saw that, and then you see the ball down the left field. Down left field line where he just off the end of the bat. But you get the swing, right? You get the swing is there. I mean, he's a top 5, not top 20, not top 15. He's a top 5 player in the sport. This is why I put him right there without seeing his board yet.
Hold on a second.
I'm telling you, he's special.
In that conversation.
He's special. He's difference maker. You hope he's here for a long time. He's going to make this team that much better for that whatever amount of time he's here. Mm-hmm. But I think when you look at Kyle Tucker and you watched him play over the last few years in Houston, you see why Houston wins. I mean, he's just that big of a player.
Difference maker.
Difference maker consistently, and it's not just with the bat. It's with the glove, it's with the speed when he gets himself back right. All the things that you're looking for. I mean, 5 tools, he might be 6. Like
a mini hardware store.
That's what he brings to the table. So,
okay. Hello, Kyle Tucker. First of many homers. We know that is true. And taking a look at that board, it was just mind-boggling to even think that it was Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Not Juan Soto, who dubbed himself the other day as the greatest hitter
You keep going
of all
down
time.
that road.
Kyle Tucker, first home run in the Cubs uniform. Kyle Tucker is trying to become the greatest hitter of all time, and here he is on his first thrilling win as a Cub.
It was awesome. I mean, even Bushy earlier in the game with this play at first was nice, and I mean we have a lot of great defenders out there, so it makes it a little bit easier, for our pitchers. So I mean, everyone made plays when they needed to, and everyone had great at bats when they needed to, and I mean that was a hard-fought win.
How do you feel when you have a game like this at the plate? How do you describe how you're locked in on days like this?
I felt good. I mean, even the 2 previous games, I felt pretty good. I was just maybe missing some pitches that I thought I probably should have put in play, but I haven't chased a whole lot, which I'm pretty happy about. And as long as I'm making some good at bats and trying to barrel up some balls and just basically do what I can, let the rest just happen. I'm happy with them.
On that home run, fouled off the breaking. What's your mentality? What are you expecting off speed?
I mean, he threw me a good amount of off-speed that pitches, but I mean, he still, throws mid-90s. Still gotta, respect it. So, I mean, I was just trying to get a pitch over the plate and try and stay within that, and not really chase, some of his good pitches. I mean, he threw a few, so I was just able to, get a changeup that stayed up in the zone a little bit.
I think just kind of like pace of play and speed of the game with a guy like him who, and Corbin Carroll obviously can really get down the line. Not really going to be a play there, but at the end of the day, got to make everybody think that you're making a play there, but you're kind of a step ahead. And that's kind of what happened, and thankfully he kind of overran the base enough to where his momentum just kind of kept carrying him to where I was kind of already running right at him. So it worked out perfectly in our favor, and glad we got a win.
How much do you run that scenario through your head before the play happens?
I mean, I'll tell you, like, in college, man, like, we went over every play under the sun all the time, and stuff like that I've visualized, practiced, done a million times. There's no play that happens that you haven't visualized or prepared for. I give a lot of credit to Coach Corbin for instilling that in us, and just kind of carried it since then, and have done it a couple times, in my career, and it's always just kind of like thinking ahead and just being ready.
What do you think of the way that Presley wore down after the inning didn't start out how we wanted it to?
It's just poise and experience. He's obviously been one of the better closers in our league for a long time, and just to be able to consistently make pitches regardless of what's going on, especially after the first 3 guys get on, he just really kind of bared down and made big pitches when we needed him to, and that says a lot about him. And we're very, very glad that he's on our team.
We know how good.
And Cubs fans, very, very glad that Dansby is on their team as well. How about Matthew Boyd? Will they be glad tomorrow? Let's take a look at our pitching matchup presented by Yingling, America's oldest brewery, and Boydo will be out there on the slab. You see his numbers from a season ago. 2-2 with a 2.72, that 1.13 whip. That's the one thing that really lights up this full-screen graphic. He'll be opposed by Eduardo Rodriguez, 3-4 with a 5.04 and 47 punch-outs to 19 free passes. If you let him get himself in trouble, he will definitely do that. As for Matthew Boyd, though, I need to know from you, Cliff, how can he go out there and help the Cubs win this first 4-game series of the season?
Well, he's been around a long time, right? Yeah. So he started before. I mean, when you look at the 39 innings last year, won a bunch for the Guardians. But he pitched really well for them in the postseason.
Sure.
And so this was a big pickup for the Cubs, in my opinion. And when you think about what he's going out to do, just be serviceable, give the team some really good innings, keep the team off balance. He's not overpowering, but he's really put a lot of emphasis on making sure his changeup has gotten better. And I think he's gotten to the point where it feels good off the fingertips. So I think that's a big pitch for him in his arsenal against a team like the D-backs.
You said he's not overpowering. Will that present any kind of a problem? We saw Justin Steele, not a flamethrower, Jamison Tyone, Shota Imanaga. They're all right around the same velocity-wise. And then Boyd, he goes out there tomorrow with the same on his fastball. Will Arizona present any troubles?
Yeah, well, they definitely can. I mean, this team can score a lot of runs, when you're making mistakes. But I think the big thing is location, and that goes for any pitcher. I don't care if you throw 100 or you throw, 85. If you're not hitting the spots, it's going to be tough for you, against any big league team. So Matthew go out there and just be what he's been in the past when he's been really good.
Another link in the chain mentality. That's what Matthew Boyd will bring to Chase Field tomorrow in Game 4 of a 4-game set, and maybe we'll see the defense on full display again along with the sticks. PCA, Shota, Kyle Tucker, Matt Shaw. A complete group effort, like we said, from front to back, and they're going to do it all over again tomorrow. For Cliff Lloyd, I'm Cole Wright. We'll catch you on Sunday.
メジャー翻訳速報。
今日は今永投手の91球、防御率 0.82 という素晴らしい内容を詳しく見てきました。2回の1死満塁のピンチを1失点で切り抜けた場面は本当に緊張しましたね。日本遠征後の疲労を考慮した調整も功を奏したようです。カブスの4、3での勝利に大きく貢献した今永投手、これからも応援していきましょう。高評価とチャンネル登録をしていただけると嬉しいです。ご視聴ありがとうございました。